China calls AU spying report preposterous. China's ambassador to the African Union Monday denounced as absurd a report by the French newspaper Le Monde alleging that Beijing has been spying on the continental body. The report published last week claims technicians at the body's headquarters in the Ethiopian capital discovered last year that the contents of their computers had been regularly copied to servers in Shanghai since 2012, citing several unnamed AU sources. I think the report is a sensational story, but it is also preposterous and absurd, that was Chinese envoy Huawei said on the sidelines of the AU summit in Addis Ababa. The AU leadership did not address the report in their opening remarks on Sunday, and Ethiopian Prime Minister Hailemariam Desalegn, and the economist calling for his resignation in a very short period of time certainly caught me off guard, downplayed Le Monde's findings. There is nothing to be spied on, I don't believe it, he said. 73% of the African Union's budget is funded from outside the continent, that's Celestine Monga. About 30 of its 55 members default either partially or completely on average annually. Talking about independence, credibility and dignity, a lot of work ahead for all of us, he said. The African Union accuses China of hacking headquarters. This is a report by John Aglenby in the Financial Times, Emily Feng and Wan Fanyang. African Union officials have accused China of hacking its headquarters computer systems every night for 5 years and downloading confidential data. Beijing funded the AU's $200 million building in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, while a Chinese state-owned company built it. Analysts said the fact that the hack remained secret for a year after being discovered and the AU was not commenting publicly demonstrated China's dominant relationships with African states. The data theft was exposed by French newspaper Le Monde Afrique and confirmed to the Financial Times on Monday. China denied the accusation. The hack underscores the risk African nations take in allowing Chinese technology companies such prominent roles in developing their telecoms backbones, despite the US placing restrictions on investment by Huawei and ZTE. The two companies have built most of Africa's telecoms infrastructure, according to a McKinsey report. Le Monde reported that data transfer activity was at a peak every night between midnight and 2 a.m. from January 2012, when the building was inaugurated, to January 2017. AU technicians discovered the organization's secrets were being copied onto servers in Shanghai, according to the article. The AU has now acquired its own servers, and all electronic communication is now encrypted and no longer passes through Ethio Telecom. Other enhanced security features have also been installed. I said the hack was really alarming because it exposed that African countries have no leverage over China. I said there's this theory in Africa that China is Santa Claus. It isn't. Our leaders need to be disavowed of that notion. China's Minister of Foreign Affairs denied the hacking allegations, calling the reports baseless and complete nonsense. China would in no way interfere with the internal policies of African countries or do anything that would hurt their interests, it said in a statement. However, a Western diplomat based in the region said the AU should not have been surprised, considering China built and fitted out the 19-story building that dominates the Addis Ababa skyline. When you let them build the whole system, of course they're listening in. Concerns about technological backdoors in Chinese tech hardware led US policymakers in 2012 to recommend blocking acquisition attempts from ZTE and Huawei. Le Monde also reported that GCHQ, the British government listening agency, had intercepted communications between AU and UN officials in 2009 and 2010, citing documents released by whistleblower Edward Snowden. My piece in August last year was China Rising.